go back to Ted Williams, former detective here in D.C. Ted, boy, I assume that these were the ones who were involved, but they sure didn't get out of there very fast.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because normally if you're involved in a shooting like that, you want to immediately leave the scene. But it seems as though from witnesses that one witness said he saw the vehicle, his SUV, leaving very slowly. So these were not panicked. These seemed like professionally organized people who knew what they were doing, if in fact this SUV is the one that's involved in the shooting.
There's always so much uncertainty when we're in the midst of this, and it could be that this is 100% right and 100% the right people, but boy, there's so many unknowns at this point, and there will be a press conference that we're going to hear shortly, I hope we'll fill in more details, but I think obviously getting the three, making the area safe is the most important thing, but getting the witness statements, those who are inside the room and survived this horrendous massacre, will be important. And
that's going to be very significant. What did people see that was in that room? Because you must remember, when there's a room like that and there's that kind of confusion, a lot of people see different things. But one of the things...
They may know the person. If it's a party, if it's a Christmas party, it might have been someone who's invited. So I assume that they're going to know a lot more.
Oh, absolutely, and they've told the authorities a lot more. But Greta, I have to believe along that route there are video cameras, and I think video cameras are going to be very significant in trying to make a determination. Now, remember, if the SUV that's in question is the one, it was dark tinted glass, so you wouldn't be able to see in there. But it may very well give them, the authorities, the ideal as to whether it was 1, 2, or 3, or 4 individuals involved or more.
Well, if they're 2 dead, and we don't know, that hasn't been confirmed in the SUV, and if surveillance camera shows that there were 2 involved in this and not 3, that will be the end of it. But right now, what a frightened community. I'd be terrified. I don't blame that woman in the closet. She heard all that gunfire, and she headed for the closet.
Yeah, just a quiet day out in California, and then for this to erupt, and then you have 14 people dead. I mean, this is so troubling. But the question is the motive. What was it? When you've got a person in the party like this, it's more likely than not that somebody in that party knew the person who perhaps left there upset and angry.
But if you look, usually, I mean, there's no sort of usual for any particular crime. But, when it's like it's one person goes into Sandy Hook, one person goes into Planned Parenthood. I mean, these people, and they're usually, very evil people, but they are very disturbed on top of it. When you have 2 people or 3 people, it's a whole other dynamic. I mean, this is planned. This is a completely different environment, a different crime. And when they come in and sort of shoot up the area, these are different types of killers.
Different type of killers. Remember, it is alleged that they were wearing tactical gear. So if they were wearing tactical gear, that means it was planned. But I would have to believe that the person who was initially in the party, who, if he was involved and went out and got other people, that he was possibly not wearing tactical gear, because he would have stood out in the party.
Well, if they knew he was angry, he didn't have something on. If they knew enough that he was angry, but tying the people to the crime is not going to be particularly difficult, because he left shell casings behind. With the shell casings on the scene, and presumably if they're shooting again at the police, they're leaving shell casings that will match.
Excellent and wisely said. Or whatever is on that scene, it's now a crime scene. That SUV, it's a crime scene. And what law enforcement must do now is to show a nexus between the crime scene and the SUV.
Can I just do one thing? Just take 1 second to thank law enforcement. The law enforcement in San Bernardino tonight, they ran to the danger. They didn't run away from the danger. And all those people who are critical of the police in this country, let us not forget that every single one of those officers is at risk tonight. It's getting dark, and they're running through it, and these people have nothing to lose by killing the police officers. And all their families are at home watching, worrying about the police officers, and there they are out there trying to protect the community. So if anyone is thinking about the police tonight, think about this. They are all at risk out there tonight, and they're doing their job for the community.
Thank you, Greta, for saying that. That is absolutely correct.